Michael is a Trill. Culber is a Bajoran. Saru is human. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Seventh Rule with Cirroc Lofton.
Hello, hello.
By the way, that was a haiku. We are joined by today two very special guests, Tamia Harper and Subrina Wood of the SyFy Sistas. To know them is to love them. My name is Ryan T. Husk. Today we're doing a review of Discovery Season 3, Episode 11, Sukal, I think is what it was, or as Cirroc calls it, SoCal. Directed by Norma Bailey. How you guys doing?
Great.
Doing good, yeah. Norma Bailey.
Norma.
First time I heard her name.
Yeah, I think that is it's the first time I noticed it as well. Before we get started, a few quick shout outs. Number one, Virtual TrekCon is doing the 12 days of content. We're a big part of that. This is day 2 out of 12 days straight of content. So nobody is alone. Everybody check that out. Go to virtualtrekcon.com and make sure that everybody knows about it so that no one is alone during the holidays. And it goes all the way through January 3rd. Tons and tons and tons of Star Trek content. Also, quick shout out to Mr. J.R. Poole, because you know how when you go to the Emmys and they're like, who are you wearing? Both SyFy Sistas are wearing J.R. Poole creations today.
Oh, little show-off session. Oh, okay. Sabrina with the chat pack.
We're wearing chat pack.
Nice.
And the Afronauts.
Yeah,
Very
baby. JR.
Oh, hold up. Let's see. See if we can do it.
Oh.
All right.
Afro puffs.
I like that.
And lastly, SyFy Sistas, you guys just did your first couple podcasts. Where can everybody see those online?
You can find it on Spotify as SyFy Sisters. You can also find it on Stitcher, iTunes, a whole gamut. And of course, you can also find it on our website, which is called, SyFysisters.com.
Okay. Let me just interject here because she's so northern that it's hard.
I know where you're going with this.
It's actually SyFy Sistas.
Yes.
Sistas. Sistas.
She did what
this is
Captain
the problem.
Picard
Lots
does.
of people put an R where there's an A and an A where there's an R, and it's just messing everything up.
That's what Captain Picard did to Data. Data is T-A. It ends with a T-A, but he says, Commander Data and I. That's what you just.
All right. If I get twisted up with Picard, that's fine with me.
But everybody who's listening to by audio should know that it's SyFy, SYFY, which is a little unconventional spelling as well. So
making it tough on you. SYF.
Yeah.
That's called creativity.
I love it.
But we'll include that in the description box below, everybody, so you can find it. You don't have to memorize it. You don't have to write it down. Just click below, and it will be there. Let's talk about this Discovery episode, shall we?
Let's.
First of all, what about my haiku? Pretty good? Pretty good, right? It's okay. They did all the work for me. All I did was really just say. All I really said was just what they said in one of the scenes. Michael is a Trill. Culber is a Bajoran. Saru is human. All I did was count it out. But that's what it is. You guys want to start there? What did you think of the alien switcheroo there?
I thought it was fun. Yeah, it was fun.
I did a little scream. I was like, what? Thought it was great.
Yeah. I mean, I liked the fact that she was a Trill, that Michael was a Trill.
Yeah.
I didn't get enough explanation for why that was the case. I thought they were going to go deeper into, okay, she's a Trill because of this, and he's a human because of this. And, the guy, he can't see another, Kelpian, maybe, for example. That's why he couldn't be a Kelpian. But for some reason or another, they just switched them up, and I didn't get a good enough explanation on why that was necessary.
That's an interesting point.
Aliens.
And that's something I think that older Star Trek iterations would do, because it reminds me of Genesis, Next Generation's Genesis, where no spoilers, but they all kind of retrograde into or de-evolve into some other form of animal. But there's like they kind of have a half explanation for it, and they kind of tell us why they're all like different animals rather than, all de-evolving into one type of thing. And shout out to Jonathan Frakes, because the funniest thing was seeing him as a Cro-Magnon.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
But yeah, Cirroc, it would have been fun if they said, "Oh, you must be a Trill because fill in the blank," whatever fun creative thing they want.
That's why I said it was only like, it was just okay. It was fun. There was no substance to it. I too was waiting for, some type of explanation, especially for Doug Jones, for Saru, to be able, that's a huge momentous reveal for us to be able to see him, not in his makeup. And it was beautiful to see him not in his makeup and just, but why? But I think, like, to go to your point, Ryan, I think like back in like TNG era, like that would have been the whole story. Like here, they've got a lot of story to cover. And, but it makes me question, like, why they even added that in there to begin with. Like, what purpose did it serve?
We might find that out later, since this one is a continuation, but I thought the same thing. Like, what's the point of it? Other than Doug Jones is like, too much makeup. I'm putting in my contract that I get one episode per week. And by the way, Doug Jones's beautiful face is a delight to see, and hardly anybody ever gets to see it because he's always behind tons of prosthetics. He's one of my best pals. He's the nicest guy in Hollywood. Cirroc says he's the nicest guy in Hollywood, but you're number two, Cirroc.
He's a super humble guy. He's just an amazing person, and so that's why you always cheer for him and you want him to be successful in life. So that goes without saying. But as far as him being a human in this episode, I was just like, because I thought there was so much significance in the fact that he would be seeing these Kelpian people as a Kelpian, and that reaction of the two of them kind of getting to know each other from that distance of time that separates them. So the evolution and whatnot, or whatever those kinds of things would be discussed. But they kind of went around that. And my first thought was, when I saw Michael with the red hood, I was like, is this Little Red Riding Hood?
Exactly where I went. Yes, I thought it was exactly Little Red Riding Hood.
Yeah.
I felt like, okay, here we are in the big bad forest.
Yeah. So I thought they were going to play out this Little Red Riding Hood children's story in the episode. I was like, oh, this is going to be good. This is like, a story in a story. But they took that, and I couldn't expect what they were about to do. It was really kind of weird, me feeling it out. I was watching, like, okay, they got holograms. They got, these people are not them. They're different aliens. He's Bajoran. Why is he Bajoran?
Yeah, right. He was rocking the earring, though. I'll tell you that.
I know the earring looked good.
It did, yeah.
He did.
And Doug Jones didn't have to wear heels.
Yeah.
Yes. And I liked their outfits. The costumes were great. Gersa Phillips again. She just knocked it out of the park with that design that they were wearing. And even after they took off their outer coats, they still had stuff on. It was just like, girl. Okay.
I want everything that she designs. I want to be in my closet.
Everything. Really? Yes.
Everything.
Yeah, she could be my exclusive wardrobe personnel right
there.
Because everything is off the chain. I love the jacket Colbert had on. He had this ski, this really cool ski jacket. And Booker, he wears the flyest stuff all the time.
Thank you.
With his big collars up. And I'm like, man, why couldn't I wear that stuff?
You can do it. You can do it, Terrell. Call her up and say, hey, you need some.
I could see you in the Colbert jacket for sure.
Yeah.
Oh man, collar up. That was just
it was dope.
Jacket.
Yeah, it was. It was the sheen and the design. I was like, oh man, this is such just.
Yeah. And dude, Cirroc, you would totally rock it because you got that nice smooth head. You get that profile to the side with the collar popped up. Shorty, come on, brother, come on.
You know it. I need a big collar like that.
When's your birthday? We're going to hook you up.
August. It's right around Star Trek Las Vegas.
You'll have to come to DC, though.
So if anybody goes to Star Trek Las Vegas, just know Cirroc's birthday is around then, so feel free to deliver a birthday gift at that time to his table.
Okay.
I'm not soliciting, but I'm not turning nothing down.
Yeah, I'm not going to say no.
So I did like a few of those. I mean, just the outfits in general. But the story felt like there was 3 or 4 stories in one.
Yes. Yes. Like a grab bag almost of stories. Like, like what's up with Adira? Like why is that it's just Adira's talking to
Stamets or Gray.
Gray.
Adira's talking to Gray in the middle of a party, right? Like nobody else knows.
Nobody sees that.
I mean, is it just so accepted that we're just like, okay, that's the weird chick over there, the weird one. The weird one over there gets to talk to, figments of their imagination.
I know some of these hang in front of the 7-Eleven up the street. So
right. Gray's last name is Texpectations. So
oh gosh.
Oh man.
What? No, that was good.
Oh no, man! Wow.
No, but to Adira talking to Gray, that was one of my choices for the trivioids at the beginning. Was Stamets pretends to talk to Gray? I thought that was a little weird, where he just kind of goes like, "Oh, is Gray here? Oh, hi." It would have been funny if Adira said, Paul, he's obviously over there. Don't you see? Oh, sorry, he's over here. Hi, Gray.
Gray reacted to
nice.
It, though. Yeah. He was upset that what Stamets said. So Gray heard him. I said, "What is going on?" I gave Stamets 2 cents for saying that to the boy. He was just like, "You're like you were at a memorial service," because I would have to say something to you. I was like, "Go ahead, Stamets." Stamets being Stamets.
Yeah, I like that too. Because that reminded me of some stuff that goes down at a funeral when you see somebody at the funeral and you're like, you're lucky we're here at this funeral because I got a piece of my mind I want to give you. But
that part was real. That part was nice.
Yeah.
It was, but it was strange that she was.
But like, why? Because my point with that is like, why? Like, what did that have to do with the price of tea in China for this story? The story that they were telling. It's like that's another story. That's another part of a story. Like they just threw a lot in this episode.
It's character development. It's a second plot, but it's not. It's not relevant to this particular story or episode. It's 2 storylines running concurrently, basically. I'd say.
Yeah.
It's going to have something to do. I think something's going to happen.
Come back around in the second part, like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yes.
Now,
I do.
Also, to the point, Cirroc, that you made about how interesting it would have been if Saru had remained a Kelpian so that he could identify with the other Kelpian, who, by the way, was acted beautifully. I forgot who the actor is, but he's done a great job there. Mm-hmm. But maybe that's something that will happen later, like when the child Kelpian is ready to see him, he's ready to see them for who they really are rather than a program. Then maybe Saru will be revealed to be a Kelpian and the kid will trust him and come along with him or some, there might be some kind of reveal there, but you're right. It would have been the kind of a cool thing for him to see another Kelpian and say, what's going on here?
Yeah, they lost that first contact moment right there. The question, I'm sorry to go back to the other issue, but does anybody ask themselves where Gray goes when she disappears? Am I the only one that's...
No,
you're not the only one. The whole Gray thing is
like where Gray?
Does she go inside her head? So then, therefore, she would be able to still.
Well, there's a lot of gray area there.
I said it first.
I know.
That one is all right. I like that one.
Speaking of pulling things from your head, so it's all. It just comes out naturally. What magic? No, but you're right. I don't understand fully what's going on with Gray, but Gray is dead, but Adira is still connected to Gray via the symbiont, it seems. Right. Kind of like how Dax would get impressions and memories from other lives or other hosts, but even more so because Adira is human. So this is kind of like different. They can explain away any discrepancies or things that don't make sense by saying, well, we've never seen how a symbiont affects a human or how a human reacts to this. So maybe we'll get more explanation. Maybe we won't. Maybe they'll just be like, well, it's a human. It's a first time. We'll see what happens. But as far as we know, Gray, the actual person, is dead, is gone, and is just living inside of Adira's memories or thoughts or symbiont. I think that's right.
Yeah. He did say that he didn't know how to do this. So it almost sounds as if the acceptance of him into the symbiont isn't complete. Like something didn't connect all the way. And he's just got a foot out of the car. He's just running along, the door's open and he's still got a foot out there like Barney Rubble. But he's not
first
all
Flintstones
the way
reference
integrated
on the show.
Yeah. Yes, congratulations.
Kind of like
I don't know, but
Ghost.
he seems confused too. Gray also seems confused about what's going on.
Kind of like Ghost with the legendary Whoopi Goldberg in that movie, where they were kind of talking about how, like, when the person isn't, they're shocked or whatever, they're not really ready to move on. Maybe there's something like that going on there.
Right. And he did die a violent death,
Right.
So.
And sorry, Tamia, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, I was just going to say, I would be really interested. That's one point, that a storyline that I was really hoping would be resolved, by the end of the season, because inquiring minds want to know, like, what's the deal with Gray?
Right.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. I wonder the same thing.
Can you do that in a Jerry Seinfeld impression?
What's the deal with Gray? That's as good as I can get. I suck at impressions.
That's very good. Seinfeld. Is it Jerry Seinfeld? Yeah. No, I do think about, like, obviously, where does Gray go if he lives in the mind? But the other aspect of this particular, just that small little scene that they had, Adira refers to Gray with a male gender pronoun as he.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that earlier, and I was giving Star Trek a lot of credit, because they were trying to introduce the they them pronouns into the Star Trek lexicon, and I thought that was great, and they deserve credit for it. But I didn't see it carried forward into this episode when Adira was referring to Gray, which I thought would be the reference of also using they, them as a pronoun.
Right. So for now, Adira is they, them, their, and Gray is he. That's just where they have it right now. And they're consistent with it, at least to where they're now calling Adira they and them. Mm-hmm. And the entire crew it's not just the ones that Adira told Stamets and Culber, but it's actually trickled down to the rest of the crew. So everybody's aware of it one way or the other.
Everybody got the memo.
But it has not moved on to Gray. We don't know what the situation there with Gray is, but Adira calls Gray he.
Yeah. Because I think that Adira is the only one who identifies as non-binary.
On the ship that I've seen, yes.
But you're right that's basically the whole Trill storyline is kind of open to that kind of blending, to where, because they have different genders and different sexes within their past lives. So it's very open to that kind of storytelling.
Which is why I thought that was a conversation that Adira and Gray both had, and that they were both kind of in alignment with that. So that therefore Adira would refer to Gray as also they, but
maybe that's another signal that he's not part of the they them yet. He's still outside of her, and he's saying he, and she knows it too. You're not in me yet. You're not one of the body. You're not of the body.
You're not of the body.
TOS. Landrew, help us.
I don't know who that is.
Yes, you do.
Oh, Leandro Niels?
No, not L. Andrew. No, Landrew from TOS.
Landrew from TOS.
Oh, okay. You gotta go slow on that. The TOS references with me and Cirroc.
I know, man. That's OG Trekkies, boy. I know. We just wait for you children to come along, figure out the story. But, all right.
No spoilers. We'll get there. I want to give a shout out to the graphics in this episode. I did like the way it looked, the nebula, and them flying through it. I thought that was
yes.
I thought it was
Yeah.
really
Huge.
well done.
Unbelievable when, especially when books ship, that little baby defiant superstar, awesome little thing is just flipping around. I was like, woo, I'm watching Star Wars all of a sudden. And Star Trek is like, no, this is Star Trek now. Now we are awesome.
Yeah. We do that too now.
Right?
Yeah.
He said, I can morph. I can morph. I said, yes, you can, baby.
But I was thinking.
Okay, let that hang. Let that hang. Let that just lay out there for a little bit. Okay.
Okay.
Let's bring it back.
Be still, my beating heart. Okay. So I was thinking. I was just thinking about the people who worked on this show from home. What an amazing job that they did. Because everything just looked so incredible.
Actually, the entire set that Saru, Culber, and Michael were on, that's actually Culber's backyard. A lot of people don't know that.
Get out of here.
No. Get way out of here.
No, but how awesome was that set? I mean, the production value back into special effects is just continues to be through the roof. That set looked awesome. They were in Mordor. There was a Balrog hunting them.
Did anybody else think MC Escher? Like they landed in an MC Escher painting?
With all the stairs.
The stairs.
Yeah.
I did think of that.
It was crazy. It was just unbelievably brilliant. I mean,
Wasn't there a moment where Burnham was being chased and she fell down, but then she fell upward?
Yes.
And that's, so I was thinking of that painting that you were saying, like what's up, what's down, what is what,
Yeah, I wonder like how intentional that was on the designer's part. Like, was it an homage to Escher? Because I mean, it was just bam, hey, you're in Escher land now.
Right. I think they had the black and white tiles on the floor. I'm not sure, but it looked. Have I seen this in a movie or a cartoon or somewhere? I know I've seen it before.
That was another yelp out of me when she got pulled up because I just went, oh no.
Yeah.
During your podcast on the SyFy Sistas, you should have a count of how many yelps you have per episode, which shows how good or bad. This was a 4 yelp episode.
That is a good idea.
4 times.
I think we're going to steal that, Ryan. I really like that.
It's not stolen. It is
freely given.
It is for you.
Write that down to me.
We're going to freely receive it. I'm writing it down. Click, click.
Okay.
All right.
There it
Yelps.
is.
I did let out a couple of hollers.
And that's your own personal Yelp review.
Oh, wow. Very nice. Very nice.
We walked right into it, Tamia.
Does anybody have suspicions of the Admiral, the Starfleet Admiral?
Yes.
This episode is the first episode where I got a tinge of something. I don't trust the guy. I don't trust
you and a lot of people in the Star Trek Discovery group on Facebook. A lot of people were saying, "Hey, there's obviously somebody on the inside feeding Osira information," and they're all saying it's got to. Who else can it be other than Vance, right?
Or his aide de camp, whatever that chick's name was.
She's hasn't been around.
She hasn't been on, right?
So
no.
Everything is need to know with Discovery, and so
true.
because I was like, how did Osira figure out that they were over there?
Yeah, I was wondering the same thing.
She went to the Calamar, Kelp land, whatever, Kelpian land, where she was over there.
Yeah, that's a good point, Cirroc.
There was his performance. I was just looking at his face, and I'm like, I don't trust this guy. He looks like he's feeding information. He's working with the syndicate or one of them groups, and he's hustling dilithium himself. He's looking for his own stash.
Nice. I like that. They better write that. That sounds good.
He's awful accommodating all of a sudden. He was such a hard ass in the beginning. And now he's like, oh, you want to go over here? Sure, go.
Yeah, sure,
oh, you're going to just let Tilly be in charge? Yeah, sure. Fine.
You're going to let an ensign be in charge? You're like, okay, sure.
Yeah.
Fine.
And good luck with that. I'll see you later.
and to add to that, when he saw that Tilly was going to be in charge, he looked over like, all right, that'll be.
Yeah, like I was wondering about that look. I saw that look.
Yeah,
I did too, but I wasn't figuring anything. Oh,
well, I was gonna check it out on my second watch, but
like a coyote seeing the chicken coop left open.
Right.
Yeah, buddy.
See, okay, now to play devil's advocate here, when people were mentioning they didn't trust Vance, I was thinking from a writer's point of view, which was, okay, let's say they discover Vance, Lord of the Vance, is feeding information, right? So they find this out, and then they want to remove him. At some point, when they reveal who the true villain is, or who's the Judas character, they remove him. But they always need to have some secondary character in place so that person takes over. And there isn't one. We saw the one lady, the chief of security, for like a couple episodes, but she hasn't been around since like maybe episode 5, it seems, or episode 6. Right. So they don't have somebody in place, storytelling wise, to hand the baton over to. So, I mean, it doesn't mean they can't do it, but it just means usually there's somebody there that like relieves him of duty. That's it. You know what I mean? So I don't know if there's that element in place.
They have the whole stuff through. So yeah, I would, if you're going to pull somebody, then you would pull Burnham and say, okay, if Saru, you're the captain of the ship, then Burnham, I'm going to make you the admiral of Starfleet, something to that degree. So they do have people that they can pull from the ship.
I'm going to go with a bizarre thing. Okay, here's my theory. Now, I've just heard everything you just said. I never heard any of this before. But maybe Vance isn't doing it on his own free will.
Right. That's what I was thinking.
Well, they did put some mind control thing over Stamets, so you might be onto something.
But, okay, I said this to me earlier. I'm going to go there. You know me. I'm going to go there. You know how I love my Enterprise. Go ahead. Start singing a song, because I love it.
No. No.
But we know from Enterprise, I know Tamia hates it, I love that song. We know from Enterprise that the Orion women have power over men.
Very good. Very good hunch there, yeah.
So Vance may not have any choice in what he's doing. And maybe that's why they don't have anybody, they're going to figure out that Osiris just, got him under a little spell.
Mm-hmm. That's a very advanced theory there.
I
think
she gets like that.
Enterprise bound when we realized that this was the truth. The women have the power over.
That does work.
Look that tough to me. I don't know why somebody doesn't slap that. Somebody needs to give her some backhand, because
you see this. Yes,
she's not that tough. She's really not that tough.
Like it's giving more credence to Sabrina's theory, because you're right. Like, remember the first episode when we meet her, I'm like, really? This is their idea of a villain for this season? Like, I thought it was like farcical, and I was just, I just couldn't take her seriously. Kind of like Ferengi and TNG. Like, for real? You're kidding me. I'm supposed to be scared.
Wow, that
what?
bad?
That bad. For me, it was that bad.
I will say, I thought that they improved upon that. I thought that the character was better in this episode than the first time we saw it. The first time we saw her, it did have kind of slightly a Martha Stewart kind of vibe, whereas this one, I said, okay, this works. I definitely thought the delivery and the performance was better. I don't know if I'm alone in that. What do you think, Cirroc? Cirroc doesn't seem convinced.
I mean, it was better than the first time we saw her. So yeah, I will say that it was better. But you surround her with like 1,000 stormtroopers and all these guys, and she'll look a lot tougher. But I just, when you see the great performances that actresses have done playing villains on Star Trek, this is not on the highest of my list.
She wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, the Now Visitor as the intendant was way more devious, way more scary, way more unscrupulous than this girl who I wish they gave her something that made her like that. Maybe if it was like, if she had some kind of little, you remember how Khan from the Wrath of Khan, he put that little bug in that dude's ear?
Yes.
And he was like, yeah, I'm gonna show you how evil I am. I'm about to put this little bug in
Well, she did kill her own nephew.
Yeah, but she should have like a little con type of.
Cold. They're like, whatever.
And he had it coming too.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, he was a mess up. You know, like he was a
threw him to a transform.
He was a detriment to her organization. So, you know, I mean, he was costing her a lot of money.
He was messing up.
Yeah, but I feel you. Like there should be something,
something maniacal, like an evil something that she has, some little creature that she found in the cave,
like flying monkeys, right?
Yeah,
like, and her little dog too.
Yeah, rips your eyes out, and takes your tongue and chews on it.
All I can say is she's lucky that Michelle Yeoh is in the other universe or wherever she is, because if Michelle had been on that thing, I don't know what would have happened. But Tilly was hanging. Tilly was doing it.
She was trying.
I like Tilly's. I like her shit talk game when she came up on the screen. She's like, "No, I'm not gonna do it, and I will self-destruct this place." And everybody looking around like, self-destruct? I didn't sign up for no self-destruct.
Just thinking that the other day, because I was watching TOS. I was watching TOS, and they were going to self-destruct. And Kirk was all like, you know, like playing chicken, like with the aliens. I'm going to self-destruct the ship, and they were like, "You're not going to do that." And he's like, "Shorty, here's my code, right?"
Here's the code.
Then he's like, and then Spock is like, "Come on, Spock." And Spock is like, "Yeah, the code." And the code is like 2A alpha
B379. Yeah. Right. Tilly needed to flip open something and push a button. It's like, I'm gonna blow the ship up.
But so like I'm thinking like when the captain is suddenly springs it on you, like, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna self-destruct. That's my plan. You're sitting in that seat and you're like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, you're just gonna make that decision for me? Like, I'm gonna die today? Like, I'm supposed to go like that? Like, come on.
I would have called up the graphic.
That's why I love the fact that they showed everybody's reactions to that. Like,
Tilly, reel it back, Tilly. Come on, girl.
Although
Not yet.
There is only one reaction that Detmer and Owassican always do. They always do the same reaction. Well, no, they have two reactions. One is when there's something crazy happening out there, you know, they're getting shot on. They look at each other like, you know, that kind of thing. Or the other one is, in this case, when, you know, Tilly says something, they look at each other and go, you know, like a little. That's the two things.
She's just lost her mind.
And by the way, am I the only one that sees a problem with calling her Ensign Tilly and she's the captain?
It does sound weird, but that's how it goes. Yeah.
You can't be the first officer / captain.
Yeah. Ensign Tilly is the captain.
She has the con. She doesn't have.
She doesn't have the actual rank.
She doesn't have the thing. She just has the con.
Yeah, but at least give her a miniature upgrade. Let her be like.
Don't scare me like that, Shalak. I was scared enough. She's in the chair, but you know, I'm hanging.
It's contingent upon her performance. You know.
Man, Ensign still.
She's got a performance review coming up, and we'll see how it goes.
Performance review.
Yeah. Can I
junior grade or something?
but is anybody else? I'm saying, you know, here's my thing. I know that they're a science vessel, and you know, but if you're over here now, we've already had the burn. They've already had this stuff has been like chased all over the place. They know Cyrus after them. I'm like, will you get some security someplace, please?
Okay, stop taking my thing. Stop taking my thing. That's so not fair that you took my thing.
Will you get ready because you know the girl is coming for you?
That's what
Tamia, in Sabrina's defense, you've had 35 minutes to mention your thing.
Yeah.
Look, I was just getting right. Not my fault.
It goes on all the time.
So much. I mean, I swear to God, it's like trying to get a word in edgewise. Really.
Try it.
See, you see what I'm dealing with?
Yeah, it's true. A couple people did also mention in the discussion that nobody in engineering had a phaser on them. I mean, what was it? 2 people showed up in engineering, 2, and they were like, "Well, what can you do?" Oh well, I guess we lose.
They almost lost me for good on this episode with how easily those people took over this ship. It made me so mad so mad. I'm like, where are the damn shields? Why is Tilly just sitting in that chair waiting for like the next bar? Like, what she think the woman was just gonna like
evasive maneuver Delta something?
She's gonna start telling your mama jokes or something. She's like waiting, like,
well, she's busy rubbing the dent.
Give some orders, damn it! You know,
some orders.
The defensives. You know,
like orbit the place, like move. Don't just park. Stay there, park with your car parked. Take off.
Right. You gotta zag. You gotta zig. You gotta zag. You can't go straight like something. You know.
Yeah, something. And then
I'm telling you, I'm like, okay, everybody, like, let's do the lock them out of the codes. Something. Call out something. Somebody.
And like, nobody knows any martial arts. Like, all of engineering was full. They're all Starfleet trained. Nobody could do a leg sweep. You're telling me not one person?
I bet Reno knows some martial arts. Yeah, no doubt. But anyway, Cirroc,
Reno's got a switchblade.
You were talking about zigzags. What were you saying?
No, I was thinking about the fact that the first people that came on the ship went right to Stamets. Like, so they knew the layout of the ship. They knew that they could go beam right into the room.
That's true.
Where Stamets was
into the chamber.
Yeah, into the chamber itself. Not even the room, but in the chamber.
Right.
So that seemed like how would they know to go there?
Right, like that's the deepest
on a spore drive they've never seen before, right?
Right. Yeah, so you're right.
Yeah, so here's Vance giving them the inside stuff. He told him, he gave him the code to something. Somebody gave him the codes.
So we're dealing
I got one question about that beam into the chamber.
Another Admiral.
What did that guy sound like? The one that said, to Stamets, he said something to him when he put the thing on his head. Like, it doesn't matter what you want. He sounded very Borgish or greenish or something. I was like, what is that man inside of that thing? What are those guys? I want to know who they are.
Yeah, the voice.
Oh, yeah.
The voice was greeny, Borgish. Wow. Cylon.
I did like those suits, though. I did like those suits that they were wearing. I thought those were pretty cool.
Were they different? They were different from the others. They were different from what the rest of the syndicate was wearing? No, I don't think so. They were the same suits, I think.
There was another suit that was introduced in this episode too, when the hologram, the Starfleet holograms inside of that dude's lair, they were wearing these kind of red and tan, Starfleet kind of looking outfits. So they do have some new outfits in this.
From 100 years ago, I guess.
Speaking of new, did any of you notice a new character on the bridge?
Did I miss a new character on the bridge? Oh my God.
I didn't
believe I missed a new character on the bridge.
Who was on the bridge? Oh, the one that was the one that did the on the bridge.
Yeah, there was a lady.
She did the Black Alert.
I don't remember. No. She had one or two lines. I think maybe two lines in separate scenes on the bridge. If you're on the view screen facing, like the screen you're facing, the team, she's on the left. She was on the left. Sorry, I think that looks like a right here, but she's on the left. Port side, thanks. I don't know anything about anything, to be honest. If it's not sports related, I don't know it.
Oh, you out an airlock.
Yeah. I don't even know what an airlock is. I thought airlock is
guard.
The other left.
So
on the
another character.
Person?
Yeah, and she just had one or two lines, and IMDb doesn't show who it is yet, but she just kind of popped up, and there she is.
When everybody came on the ship and it was all the action was happening then?
Yeah, I saw her in 2 or 3 different scenes, but she had a line, an actual line, I don't remember where, like midway or 2/3 of the way through it. There are some theories as to who or what exactly it is, but we can't really say because it's kind of like, we'll see. It's not on IMDb yet. But it is an actress that may or may not have already worked on Discovery, but we don't know. Either way, we've never seen this character before.
Okay, I got to pay attention to that. There was so much.
There was a lot. I have a problem with the fact that Saru is always not knowledgeable of something. He's like, "Oh yeah, you're right. I should have done that." And it's like Michael's like, "No, you're compromised. You're already thinking You know, and Tilly does the same thing to Saru. Everybody seems to know more than
Is
the guy.
Is he getting dumber?
Is he getting dumber? Yeah.
Remember how smart he used to be and how good he used to be? And now he's just kind of like, not.
Yeah.
I understand them wanting to show an arc of growth in the captaincy, you know, of him, you know, learning to really be comfortable in this position. But I agree with you. Like every episode now, we're getting something where, you know, it's kind of obvious. It's stuff that he knew 3 episodes ago. You know, he used to know it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you're right. Like Michael's saying, actually, Saru, you should do it this way. Giorgio would say, Saru, you're doing it wrong. Vance is like, you're doing it wrong, Saru. Tilly's like, well, maybe you should do it a different way. Poor Saru, man. Like, he's having a bad month.
Yeah, he really is.
He used to be like the star pupil of like the captains, you know, and now that he's in the captain's chair, he's just having a bad month. He'll figure it out.
Yeah,
do you think they're setting up? Did you guys think that they were setting up for somebody else to take over the captaincy?
Yeah, it seemed that way. They certainly tried to make it feel like that. And then when Culber said, "I'm staying too," I was like, "What the hell's going on?"
Yeah, right.
Was this a two-parter? I wish they told me this was part 1 because I would have expected to see that there would be more stuff unresolved. But yeah, I was surprised by that too.
Well, from a writer's point of view, you know, they say something like, if, you know, one of the rules of screenwriting is if you are going to show a gun in a script, you better use that gun, right? So think about it. What have they shown over the last 3 seasons? They've shown multiple times that Tilly is meant to be a captain. They've hinted multiple times that Michael Burnham is meant to be a captain. Giorgio just last week said, you know, that Michael Burnham is much superior or greater than Saru as a captain. So they're certainly leading us to believe that at least at some point, maybe at the very end of the series, Michael Burnham is meant to have a greater purpose, whether that's in Starfleet as a captain or the head of Starfleet or something else. Or Captain Tilly is going to happen, not Killy, but actual Captain Tilly. So from a screenwriting point of view, they're planting the seeds for us to expect that those things are going to happen. What happens to Saru, I don't know, but that's seems like where they're leading.
Yeah.
I'll buy that.
I had a little kind of a nitpick. And yeah, I don't have the time, but I'm going to give it to you anyways. My nitpick was Osira's ship wrapped around the Discovery, and then Discovery transported out of there with her ship. And I'm like, well, doesn't the sport drive only transport Discovery? Will it transport something attached to Discovery? And if so, why wouldn't then Starfleet, when they needed to make these kinds of jump missions,
you got it,
also attach their Starfleet ships to the Discovery and go with them whenever they needed to go somewhere, and say, instead of saying, "Oh, you go by yourself."
Ooh, that's a good point.
Well, it was those tendrils that we saw come out. So, you know, that was pretty ominous looking. So something is with that, you know, it wasn't just a one little grappling hook. That was
right. Or a trap. Yeah. I agree with you, Cirroc. Like, I mean, you know, Subrina and I were talking earlier and we both were like, wait a minute. It was like, so Discovery can take something else, you know, through the spore drive. Like, how does that work? You have the coordinates to and the equations for the mass and everything for one ship.
Well, there's that thing that Stamos has on his head.
Maybe
they've got those tendrils. In which case, you know, you might want to. I kind of always say, look, even if they're just trying to explain it, like, okay, well, they've got these tendrils, like these Borg tendrils that come out. Yeah, I don't know, Subrina. You think that's what it is? You think that it's
and Stamos's headgear, the headgear he has on, and the tendrils. There's something going on with the two.
There's something going on with the tendril things for sure. I mean, or like maybe it would, you know, because when we saw it, I was like, oh, you know, future grappling hooks. That's all they are. It's just space age grappling hooks.
Right.
Well, it looked organic though to me.
But they did. Well, yeah, they did.
It looked alive, right?
Yeah.
Transworms. Yeah. So maybe, and then Subrina and I were saying, like, in that last shot, when Burnham gets there, she sees, like, we don't see Discovery in that shot.
I had to see it again. I watched it again. Yeah, Discovery is
you have
small.
to look really close, right? It's so small, and it's like black on, like, different shades of black on black,
right.
But maybe you can. I don't know. I would like that explained.
Yeah,
I would like the science of that explained.
That's
because
one of those
otherwise
things where
we're
you
just
watch
starting
it
to go into magic territory.
There's something with the transworm, the transworms that stuff. I mean, it's all connected because, like you said, Ryan, you don't put something in the script unless it's going to do something. I don't know. Maybe the transworms just eat people, but I don't know. They're hunting them. They're looking for them.
That's true. Yeah. Go ahead, sir.
I have another nitpick to add.
Hit it. We're ready. You got the Council of Elders right here working on these.
That's
We're going far and wide on this one. Far and wide.
And this one is about the burn. So the burn happened as a result of this kid having chasing around this monster and being scared.
I'm apoplectic.
And it didn't happen again. Except for when Saru shows up, and that's the first time we see the signs of what causes the burn. That
right.
It's like it's kind of weird.
Well, nobody else.
That's a working theory, though. We don't know for sure that that's what it is, but so far that's what it's starting to look like. Yeah, with 2 episodes left.
Yeah,
this kid is worse than Trelane.
Yeah, he's like,
yeah. He has a temper tantrum, and Starfleet is done.
And the burn happens. Who are these mothers that leave their kids with matches?
That's what it is.
Exactly.
They left their kid with matches in a firecracker storm.
Yeah. Remember that kid on the gas planet that his mother left him there, and then he pretended he was Riker's son and all that, and made up minuet, and there's another kid that got left behind by some mom on a planet.
The kid didn't make that up. That was Romulans that were working on Riker.
Yeah, this episode was very reminiscent of 2 Star Trek tropes. One is the trapped on a holodeck trope.
Yep.
And the other one is trapped on a planet with some mysterious being's mind thing that's happening, like the Beauty and the Beast episode on Enterprise, like this. Riker one, a couple others, but it kind of felt like an amalgamation of the 2 Star Trek tropes.
I'm sorry, one more nitpick. I'm full of them today. So
a lot of material to work with.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So Adira sneaks onto Book's ship with the hopes of giving some pills to Burnham and to Culber and Saru so that they can extend their radiation exposure.
Right.
Well, then why wouldn't Culber just bring a bunch of them pills with him when they went to the planet?
That's what I was thinking. Why not bring a whole Ziploc bag full of them and just
but she swallowed it. She put it in her mouth. They had it on. I don't know. Yeah, that was bizarre.
She took one. She took one herself.
Right.
She took one herself?
Yeah, she took one.
I mean, they had it
for herself.
Right. And they
Sabrina's
took one before they left. But if that was the key to keeping you alive, wouldn't you take a whole pocket full of them?
Exactly.
Like rations, like food. You need this every 4 hours or whatever.
Right. And for emergencies.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, they can only stay there another hour or so they didn't need much.
I just like that Subrina said that they took them in their mouth. Like almost like a mama bird, like just puts in it like this, and then when Adira arrives, like
I'm heading in.
Here's some more. It's saliva activated.
Hey, I'm telling you.
Chewable. Radioactive.
I don't have pockets to carry.
Like, I'm going.
There's your second Flintstones reference.
It was
right
that
there.
big.
There it is. I brought it all back.
Yeah, but that's a solid nitpick. Why not just bring more pills if that's all it takes? Or maybe it was just something that Adira just created on the spot. I don't really know, but I don't know. What do you guys think?
I just thought that all was just. I mean, I know that it's going to be continued. It just seemed loose, not a tightly written part. Like, I mean, I didn't get it. You know, like, why is she going down there? What's the plan? Oh, to take medicine? Really?
She's doing something else.
There's got to be something else.
Yeah.
There's got to be. Yeah. You know, and then, like, you know, like, was the plan just to take the medicine and come back? You know, like they had to jet, like they had to leave her. Like was that part of the plan? I don't know.
It was. Yeah. I had to watch it a couple times because I didn't know what was going on for a second. I was like, wait.
Did anybody pay attention to who wrote this episode? Because I missed that the first go round.
It was somebody I did not recognize. Anne Kofel Saunders.
Okay.
That seems like a new name
that means nothing to me, but that's okay.
Good for her. I mean, it was involved. I mean, hey, imagination.
It's a lot.
So
we've got how many episodes left? Two.
Ooh. We have 2 episodes left. The next one is the 800th Star Trek episode ever, and then the other one is the final Discovery episode of season 3, also the only one of 2021. We only have a few minutes left. I did want to point out, because she is one of my favorite characters and actors on the show, we had a Dr. Pollard sighting, which was really cool. She got. I put in my notes, Dr. Pollard has kitty duty. she's like, can you watch my cat for me? She's like, I'm not going to watch your cat. Well, she's got a hurt paw. All right, I'll watch your cat.
There's new clothes too, new outfit.
It's good to see her. We love Raven Dowda.
She's so dope. She's so
rocking the non-look.
Loved the panel that you guys did with her on the last VTC. It was amazing. Amazing.
Right.
That
was with Conrad Coates and Michelle Hurd, right?
Yeah.
Yes. That was a great panel.
Yeah.
I have one last thing. One last thing that I'm noticing in this, and I think it's maybe interesting. But these guys are going to be together here for God knows how long. I mean, they're on duty like for the rest of your life. It's pretty much you're never getting a day off. And they've got these relationships.
Lieutenant Non. Then you just
except I think we'll see her again. I think we'll see her again.
Jet gets a lot of.
Jet goes on vacation.
Where is Jet? Like Jet's like, I feel like working today. I'll show up.
Yeah. She's like, I'm going out to get licorice. Leave me alone, okay?
Jet is like that employee who's on limited part time, and they've got FMLA protection. They're like late all the time, and you're like, can't fire FMLA.
They have these relationships now that are developing within the crew, like Culber and Stamets, where someone's going on an away mission, and if you got to the point where you had these lovers and people involved, they would be transferred off a ship and onto another ship, like Picard and his piano playing girl there or whatever. But so you're not going to be able to do that, or maybe not be able to do that. So I think it's really interesting that these relationships are getting very tight. They are like family. They don't want to leave each other. And how are they going to deal with, Stamets was like, you can't go. It's like, well, you can't get like that, So I think it's going to be very interesting watching these relationships get deeper and deeper, and they get in more and more danger.
That's actually the one thing that, I really loved. One of the parts of the episode that I really loved was that scene between Stamets and Culber. It was really touching, what your point, it makes me think like that. It felt like very kind of DS9, we're starting to get. Well, first of all, a lot of the tones of how this was shot reminded me of DS9, like the darkness of a lot of it, and it was just comfortable, because I don't have HD DS9, but remastered, but but also just like you said, those relationships, that was the last time we got that in Trek. So and it feels like coming home when you start to see those relationships explored in this way.
Speaking of Stamets and Culber, one thing I did notice when Stamets was talking with Adira, and he was referencing Culber, and he was like, well, Hugh and I are sort of a package deal. And I was like, wait for the wink, but it didn't come. I thought he was going to say, we're sort of a package deal. with Culber in his tight clothes. I'm like,
but I felt the relationship building that you highlighted, Tamia, about Stamets and Culber. I felt that moment in the scene, but I also felt it when Book was saying, "I'm going to go get Michael," and I also felt it when Michael was like, when she was saying, "So how's it going?
Yeah.
Tell me, keep the comms open." Like you could tell that they truly kind of care about each other.
Yeah. These people would be transferred off ships in other iterations, but Book and Michael and Stamets and Culber are going to have to deal with this. And okay, another question: when are they going to put Book in a uniform? Because my boy did 3 things on this episode that I think he had his moment 3 times.
Yeah, he did.
Real quick about Booker. I was just thinking that. I was hoping we could talk about him a little bit, was because I see how perfectly they were able to incorporate Booker into this. At first, I was skeptical because I'm like, how are you bringing an outside person onto a Starfleet vessel? I mean, they do it all the time with Quark in, Deep Space Nine, with Neelix on Voyager. They do it all the time. Guinan on Next Generation. They always have that extra person, that outside point of view. And I was kind of a little skeptical. How is it going to work with this guy? How are they going to pull it off? Because he's not, just an advisor or a bartender or a counselor or something like that. But I see how they're going to do it. And it's going to be a perfect mix because they now have this other ship that can do all these other things that belongs in this future timeline. So it can do things that Discovery can't. It's small. It's kind of like Voyager's Delta Flyer. Or
Delta Flyer.
Space Nine's Defiant. Exactly.
Yeah. Right.
It's going to work beautifully, and they're going to have a good relationship, between Booker and the rest of the crew, and they're going to be able to trust him to do these other missions and to do these side projects. I think it's going to be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
If I'm him, I don't want an outfit. I'm keeping the letters. Just give me a job assignment. Give me a title.
Just give me a badge. Give me a badge and a job.
Yeah. But
he's a captain. He's his own captain. He doesn't need to come on as an ensign. He's his own captain.
Exactly. I don't see Booker fitting into the Starfleet model. He is his own entity. He's self-contained. And he shouldn't be restrained. I think Starfleet would be entirely too restrictive. And I think going back to that other point that he made with Saru, you're going to need somebody who's not bound by Starfleet edicts, and principles. He's like the Han Solo of this thing. He's going to
Han Solo.
When we saw him,
he's a black Han Solo,
ship,
right?
We
and
noticed
he flew the hell out of that thing.
That was very Orlando Calrissian, but that was totally the Millennium Falcon we saw there.
Yeah.
Looks like we're just about out of time, guys. But the SyFy Sistas are awesome. You can find them in the description box below. They spell things in very creative ways, so make sure you check that. It's really easy. It's SyFy like SyFy Channel and Sistas like Sistas.
There you go.
Come to DC anytime you want, Ryan.
Sabrina, the white guy said it better than you do.
Yeah,
I'm from Boston. What do you want?
Yeah, you did say sisters.
You got a DC pass.
We're the SyFy sisters. Anyway, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a load of fun. Yes, please.
Can we just say before we go, just peace and love to Fran Taylor, our other SyFy sister, and Yvette Blackmon, and JD Keeling, the rest of our SyFy sisters. We love you.
We sure do. And our bridge crew.
Our bridge crew.
Oh, you guys play bridge?
You had to get that when you were doing.
My grandma had a bridge crew too,
your
but she
invite
meant it.
Just got revoked from DC. You have to earn that back all over again.
Yeah,
I know, right?
We don't care how you pronounce sisters. You're uninvited. All right, but thanks very much, guys. It's been a pleasure. We always love talking with you, and you're always great.
Thank you.
Out on the internet and in the live chats. So everybody
Thank
at home,
keep representing for all the sisters out there that are SyFy fans, because we always get kind of marginalized and swept under the rug, but our voice matters, our opinion matters, and I'm glad that you guys are representing for the women out there, the Black and brown women out there that want their voice to be heard as well. So thank you so much for what you do.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Much love.
And thank you all very much at home. Check them out and keep watching Discovery for 2 more weeks, and then we'll see what happens. And we'll see you next time on The Seventh Rule. Always remember the 7th rule.